This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time.
He's got outside touch. Is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Hey, good morning and welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the morning. And there is Joseph doing the daily drive as we're getting used to doing. I mean, school should be over though pretty soon, so we might not be seeing the daily drive every day. Good morning, Eric. No push-ups required today. On time as always, but some diamonds inverted will always help you. Good morning, Brent. How you doing this morning? This is the fun part of the season. Ken and Joe, this is the fun part of the season. And Ken, what we were talking about before we went on air today is kind of like the epitome of where we're at in the NFL season. So, yeah, and I get this with the VA. So you make the doctor's appointment. You're jacked. Like, I need to get my prescriptions refilled. They need to update my list. You know, I need my ibuprofen, i.e. Army candy. I need my blood pressure meds, whatever it is, my migraine meds, which God, I could have used yesterday. And what happens? You're ready for your appointment, and they call you and say, "Oh, by the way, we're having a doctor shortage. We have to cancel your appointment. Please make another one." Really? It took me 4 freaking months to get this one. Or, hey, I need a prescription refill. And well, you know, if you call us during regular business hours, we can fill it. But right now, you'd have to talk to the emergency doctor on call, which will charge you an extra bazillion-dollar fee for. And if
you call that emergency doctor, we're still not going to refill your prescription.
Exactly. So you call the next morning. It's like, your call cannot be completed as dialed because we were having technical issues. Well, fine. I'll go online and fill my damn stuff so they can mail it to me. I like that about the VA and TRICARE. I can do that, and they'll ship it to me. VA being free, TRICARE is a copay. So you go do it, and they're like, your prescription list is not updated. You need to see your doctor. What the hell? That's what this part of the NFL season is like. You're waiting to go see the doctor. You want to see your team do stuff, and what do they give you? OT freaking A's, which is basically glorified practice. They run on shorts and a helmet. But yet, we're all supposed to sit there and believe that the headlines that come out like J.J. McCarthy lighting it up at OTAs with amazing throws and command of the offense that he's never played in. Caleb Williams struggling with Ben Johnson's new offense in first practice ever in the new offense. Sam Darnold throws 24 interceptions at camp, season doomed at his first practice. This is what we have to deal with now in OTAs. And it's like, really, guys? We know this isn't the case. It's like you tell me I have a doctor's appointment next week at the VA, only to tell me you're going to cancel it 2 days later because there's a doctor issue. That's where we're at right now. Is that about sum it up, Ken?
Vaguely, the only caveat that I would give is the OTA stuff will matter if there's multiple reports over multiple practices. Then that's when I'd start to be like, okay, you know, there might start to be some smoke here.
From multiple different sources. It can't be the same beat writer beating the same drum because he hates the player, because we know that happens. It would have to be like you hear it from, basically everyone, right? It's like, I'm sorry. If I'm going to hear about Caleb, it can't be the Packers beat writer who's covering the Bears because, they all cover each other's. Look at their Bears writers at Packers watching Packer OTAs and blah, 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 because we do that crap, right? So it can't be like a guy at Raiders camp who's from Kansas City who's writing the same article about how Geno is not fitting in well in Vegas. No, it needs to be like 10, 15 different sources with some writers who we know have no team allegiances whatsoever. I mean, it's just like, yeah. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, and Brent, I love this comment. Pajama Camp is either they're Hall of Famers or a bust. Yeah, I mean, can we say Chase Claypool, anyone?
Oh,
He was a Hall of Famer out of camp a couple of years ago.
All that does is remind me of Miles Boykin, the receiver that existed in Green Bay for a couple of years, because at the end of one year, he did pretty decent, and then all in the offseason, he's doing fucking amazing. The regular season comes, and you just his snap count just drop.
Yeah.
Bye, girl.
Morning, A-Dub. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, though. It's like, and look, if you're like the players who are going to draw a lot of these headlines are your quarterbacks, number one. Especially if they have a new head coach or new OC, there's going to be tons of headlines about them. Or if they're a first-year starter / rookie, either or, whichever applies. Or if they're a big free agent signee. Those are the guys who are going to get all these headlines because they're the guys that we were excited about in the offseason. And so, we all are clamoring to hear more. We're thirsty for information, and we'll soak up any crap they throw. Oh, wait. What is it, Eric? You can't give me the wait, and not give me the follow-up comment like 2 seconds later, man.
Nope. No. He's trying to tell you, just fucking wait, dude. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, it's gotta be rapid fire. Oh yeah, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. There we go. Wait. There you go. Wait.
Okay, maybe it was I could have sworn it was Miles.
Oh, there. See, Eric with the on the spot correction. Good to go, Eric, this morning. But yeah, I mean, I hate this part of the season, man. It's like
no. Eric is totally right. I'm just fucking.
Well, yeah, because Eric's sitting on Google looking crap up while we're talking. He's smart like that.
No, hold on. To be fair, Eric's only 25, so he can still remember every player on the roster. Because I remember being that age, and I can remember every player on the roster. Now it's if they're in like the top 3/4 of the team, absolutely. But once you start getting to that bottom of the roster in practice squad, it's like, okay.
It is funny
you
how that works.
Actually search to remember the guy's name in your mind.
It is funny how that works because, like, I can't remember guys from the practice squad from 10 years ago because, shit, I've 50 years of remembering players on the team. Yeah, I get that. Eric, that's where your lack of age, there you go, is advantageous in this case.
Yep.
And the fact that you can probably run a mile and not want to keel over and die.
Because let me tell you, I remember being Eric's age and giving my uncle shit, and I mean hardcore shit, about not knowing who was on his team's roster. And he told me the exact same thing that I just mentioned. He said, wait until you get older because you won't be remembering all those guys either.
And A-Dub comes up that the Eagles are going to be on the Madden 26 cover. Didn't that curse get broken a couple years ago, though?
Nope.
I thought it did. Maybe not. Okay, well, good. The Eagles are
cursed. I was going to say...
The Eagles, no, just kidding.
At most, I think it skipped somebody for a year, but hit them again next year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
And then you got Christian McCaffrey that got himself hit with it twice and tried to deny it.
You know what, Ken? Trying to remember all these players that were on practice squads over the years and whatnot is like trying to remember looking up your trying to fill your prescription online and your current prescription aren't there, only the ones from 10 years ago. You like how we did that? Yeah. Tie it all together, man. Tie it all together. So, I mean, this is where we're at. I mean, this is that part of the season.
Well, hey, if they don't give me my medicine, I might have a heart attack live on air, and that should give us some ratings.
That should some ratings, man. Well, I'm just waiting for Joe to go off on some...
Let me put a little caveat here. As soon as I said that, I got the death glare from the old lady.
I'm waiting for Joe to have a Woody moment in the truck. That's what I've been waiting for, is Joe to have the Woody moment, when he's driving. Because we always get a good Woody moment in the vehicle. Joe is always calm, collected, then walks into 7-Eleven to order us all coffee, which he then drinks himself because obviously he can't make it appear in Florida, New York from California. But yeah. There you go. Yeah, when Mahomes and Brady were both on the cover, they both had a good year because obviously Mahomes has been the AFC Championship every year of his career.
No, I'm pretty sure when Brady was on it was the year he tore his ACL there.
Yeah, but Mahomes still went to the AFC Championship. So is it really a curse if you go to the AFC Championship?
Yeah, but he's got his brother and Brittany to deal with. That's enough of a curse. Speaking of Brittany, did you see her latest augmentation?
No.
Yep. Patrick Mahomes got himself 2 new weapons to play with in the offseason.
2 new jugs?
You like that one, Joe?
Oh my God.
2 new jugs to play with. Hey, he said, this is how it went down. You ready? He said, Brittany, I need a new jugs machine to practice catching. She goes, oh, I got some jugs you can catch. Let me go get them for you.
And Patrick's had him running routes ever since.
There you go.
The funny thing is there's about as much plastic in the jugs machine as in her jugs now.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. When it comes to Brittany Mahomes, we can, yeah, she gets some trash because of her early days. Yep. Your young ears there, Eric. I'm telling you. But no, for as much crap,
don't worry, Eric, and not to interrupt you, Kenny. Eric and I got a run-in joke. But when I come down to Green Bay for training camp, part of the mission is we're gonna get you hooked up, buddy.
Oh no, Eric, you better hit the gym some more, man. Get some inverted diamonds.
It is one of my major jobs to corrupt Eric as best I can.
We're gonna do that.
You gonna show him where the Green Bay sheep farm is?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! For as much crap as we give Brittany Mahomes, though, because early on, yeah, she was kind of out there, but you know what? Look, she's now part owner of the NWSL team there. Now part owner of an actual stadium, right? She's done a lot for women's sports in Kansas City. So, like, for all the crap we can talk about Mahomes, the Mahomes family, I have to give Brittany credit. Is she has really turned it in a way that's been positive. Now, his brother, yeah, I get it. He's a freaking tool.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, absolutely. Apparently, she's got some redeeming qualities.
But I mean, she's a part owner of a professional sporting franchise that's actually really respected, and they have a home stadium that's one of the most feared home stadiums in the NWSL to play in. So you got to give Brittany some credit, and Patrick for getting behind it as well. I mean, but that's the new model, right? Aaron Rodgers started that when he bought part of the Bucks. Right now, Tom Brady.
I was going to say, hasn't that been going on in sports for a long time?
Not really. It's more of like in the last 5 years, it's more of the phenomenon in the last 5-6 years where now athletes, because it used to be this: you opened a restaurant, Ditka's, Jordan's, everyone opened a restaurant. Then all of a sudden,
Steakhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Shula's, all that kind of stuff. Now it's you buy a sports team, and Ryan Reynolds, obviously made it famous with Welcome to Wrexham. But now, like this season of Welcome to Wrexham, one of the teams they're playing is owned by guess who? Tom Brady.
Shouldn't we give a little more credit to Michael Jordan for being one of the first players to own a professional team?
He was the first. He really kind of was the first to really.
That's kind of what I was referencing when I was talking about it.
But
we know what time it is for Nicholas.
Because Jordan was smart.
You right after the show.
Because Jordan was smart. Yeah. He's like, look, dude, like I made millions in my NBA career, but millions is nothing compared to the billions that owners make. Like, he's like, I want some of that owner money. And
that's what they're doing. And they're divesting into other sports. Like Jordan bought within basketball to start. Fine. Magic Johnson is part of the ownership group that owns the Redskins.
Yep.
Tom Brady owns a professional soccer club in England because they're in the same division as Ryan Reynolds' Wrexham, right? And they're probably both going to get promoted. I think they both did get promoted.
And he also owns a stake in the Raiders at like 5%.
And now he owns 5% stake in the Raiders. Yeah, does Brady, but staying in sport, right? But then you got like Aaron Rodgers owns part of the Bucks. He's got as many championship rings for the Bucks as he does for the NFL at this point. right? These guys are getting smart. They're starting to buy in the franchises because they know that that's where the money's at. And the Mahomeses went a step further. Not only did they buy into the club, they bought a friggin' stadium. So, I mean, Patrick is super smart with his money. MJ kind of showed him on the way, and then, well, we had Broski, we lost Broski. We've lost what we've had. Anywho,
Do you want a couple of tissues over there, Ken?
no,
You can be all right.
Broski will be back. But no, I mean, MJ paved the way, and then everyone's kind of figuring it out and catching on. And then, like, I think what exacerbates it some, like, okay, so really not many people knew Aaron Rodgers owned part of the Bucks. It was kind of low key for a while, and then all of a sudden when they win the championship, it's not. I mean, we kind of knew
a lot of Packer fans did, but outside of it, outside of that, it wasn't newsworthy because who gives a shit about a player owning some team in another sport?
But then when Ryan Reynolds and company, and they bought Wrexham and brought it to FX as a documentary, it kind of put a spotlight on team ownership. You see, Will Ferrell owns part of the LAFC. What's her name owns the Nashville team. Reese Witherspoon is the primary owner of the Nashville MLS team. Like, and you're like, okay, and then Beckham, of course, owns part of Miami. And then when Messi signs with Miami, part of his contract is when he retires, he's an owner. So we're starting to see this become more, not only more prolific, but we're starting to see it more in the news. We're paying more attention to it. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Him and Rogan were talking about trying to buy the island as is. That way they could kind of go through it and see what the hell was in that place.
Why not?
The running joke was that they never let those two buy that island because they'd tell all the secrets.
Yeah, I mean, but we're starting to see more athletes. I mean, look, and there's still some athletes who do restaurants and that and have success. Gary Fensick's Hunt Club was open for 40-some years before he sold it last year. I mean, Ditka's didn't close down until COVID, kind of when it closed. COVID closed a lot of shit. Shula's is still, I think, an open restaurant chain post his life. A couple players still have. Oh, and the other thing was car dealerships. Like Scottie Pippen's got a car dealership, right?
John Elway has a bunch of car dealerships.
Yeah, car dealerships was a thing too for a moment. Now the thing is you buy sports teams, and they have more longevity. Because why? Car dealerships go under. Restaurants have a very low success rate, right? How many?
But the real money is in ownership if you can get into one of the major organizations like NFL, MLB, like. That's where the players are starting to realize that. Like, you have to have a significant career earnings to be able to even afford a minority stake. But if you can get that minority stake, NFL teams do nothing but appreciate over time. Like, they just get worth more and more and more. And if you think about it, like, so the way the NFL works, they disperse, like, they get, let's say, $10 billion, and that's probably close to the actual number. They get like $10 billion a year for TV rights, right? Then they divide that amongst 32 teams, right? And that goes to the owners, right? Like, we
figured it out not long ago, and we broke down numbers, and what did we come up with? Like each team is making roughly $1 billion in pure profit.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. Yeah, it wasn't quite $1 billion, but it was a few $100 million.
Yeah, we broke down. I think it was Minnesota specifically.
Because
Minnesota cleared almost $1 billion in pure profit, and that's Minnesota. So if you take that as an average per team, about $1 billion. And I think maybe we did it after the Netflix deal, and we were because like you got to remember, like, here's what happens, right? It's partially what Joe said. There's two pieces of it. Let's say they sign a deal. We'll just make the math easy. $35 billion TV deal. Okay. So 32 billion gets spread out amongst 32 teams. So each team gets $1 billion. The other $3 billion goes towards, open the salary cap, right? Like, that's how part of that goes like that. So and the league gets their cut or whatever. But yeah, I mean, big money in ownership, and it doesn't matter what sport. I mean, because you look at like the English soccer leagues, like even Wrexham was like at the lowest level you could make, and they still turned a profit in year one. At any level, professional sports can if you do it right, turn your profit. Look at the Savannah Bananas. They probably make more money than some MLB teams with the way they sell tickets in their minor league baseball, right?
And the way the NFL works, you don't have to sell all your tickets. Like if let's say, for example, the Packers are always selling out, but the Panthers can't sell a game to save their lives, the Panthers still get as much money as the Packers do. So it's a great scam, dude. And not just that, but think about this, like $1 billion in pure profit, and it goes to the ownership, right? So 5% stake, Tom Brady just made more in 1 year as a Raiders owner than he ever did playing football. He just banked probably close to $50 million as an owner for his first year.
So
that's a pretty good return on investment, dude. Like,
I think I was talking to Broski the other day. I think Broski, we need to go ahead and buy a team.
Got to be a power team.
Okay, there we go.
You want to buy a flag football team?
I think that's a good place to start. We'll start with the flag football team and move our way up. Yeah, we're gonna buy a Ken and Ken in the morning buy-in for a professional franchise somewhere. We just don't know which one yet. We'll have to research it, and then we become their official sponsors because we'll own them. So,
what we could do is buy a professional. We could start like a professional cooking and vacuuming team and get them ready for the Olympics.
Oh, Jesus. Yes. Hey, Nicholas, the problem with that is you can't put your money in federally insured banks.
Oh, well, hey, the underside of the mattress still works, and that's how they make ARs.
There's owning its big money, but you can't bank it, and your tax. It's screwy with the federal government, but that's not a bad way to make money either. And there are players who are doing that too. Players. Yeah,
Calvin Johnson has a shit ton of dispensaries.
Yeah, look at the players are getting smarter with their money and what they're doing. Look at Antonio Brown. Like, the dude is still making bank just from posting on X. I would say he's probably making $500,000 a year just from posting what he happens to be doing on X. Probably $500,000 a year. That's not much, but dude, that's just for him. Like, every so often, he might be making more than that, but he's making a ton of money just because he's AB and he says crazy shit.
There you go. That's how he's making money, because he says
during the campaign, him and Le'Veon Bell got involved deeply with it, and they picked up millions of followers, or hundreds of thousands of followers, I should say. And he's making money hand over fist now with it. I mean, they both are. Players are getting smarter with how to make money post-career, or some of them even while they're still playing. Because obviously, look at Mahomes is making tons of money as a player, while he's concurrently also an owner making tons of money on that side. Aaron Rodgers, same way, right? He's only part of the Bucs while playing in the NFL. The players are getting much smarter in how to invest their money. At least some of them are. You still get the knuckleheads who 3 years after they're out of the league are going to be flat ass broke and have less money than any of us on the panel. But
I don't know about
I was going to say the ones that always. Oh, I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
They're still going to have more money than me. No, hey, I was just going to say, thinking about owning a dispensary, that would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Well, but I'm
sitting here thinking, like, what are the chances that Ken could run a profitable dispensary? Not very good.
No,
don't get high on your own supply. Don't get high on your own supply.
Because I'd have to stop paying for stuff.
Yeah, but kind of along that train of thought, like, the ones that always stand out to me are, like, I think it was one like Colorado,
up a hamburger joint, like.
Well, I was going there. So when Colorado, I think they were like the first or second state to legalize it. Do you remember Peyton Manning owned like 50 Papa John's out there? Like, I'm like, dude, that's brilliant. Like, honestly. And then even before him, I remember Magic Johnson. He owned like 30 Wendy's or something like that in California.
So those are the smart restaurants. There used to be a restaurant with your name on it, and then like guys like Peyton Manning, Shaquille O'Neal is another smart business guy. These guys got smart. Like, why would I open up my own joint when I can just buy into Papa John's?
And
Or why when I can buy into Wendy's, like these big national chains that really the threat of them going under it's still there because national chains do go under. Anyone remember Chi-Chi's? Right, but national or Bennigan's, I don't think Bennigan's exists anymore. And they had the best potato soup. But I mean, even national restaurant chains go under, but the odds of Papa John's or Wendy's, especially in a place like California or Colorado where they're smoking weed faster than they can grow it, of course those places make money because people are ordering 24/7. Smart business.
And I was going to say too, down low, and just because I lived in like the Philly area for so long, very successful, former pro athlete turned businessman who actually had a bunch of, still to this day, very successful car dealerships. Surprisingly, Mike Piazza, holy crap, man. He had so many car dealerships and they're still going today. And like he made a killing off of those.
Scottie Pippen had to file bankruptcy a couple years ago. And then he still had his car dealership. Because of his car dealership, and some other things was part of his rebound. Like that saved him from being in dire straits. Dennis Rodman, same way. Dennis Rodman was broke. All of a sudden, Dennis Rodman's flush again. But it's funny how even big players go through it. But Warren Sapp was broke and then now he's doing commentating work, so he's making money again. But it's amazing how many players are broke. We see it all the time. But look at Warren Sapp was a player. The dude tried to buy nightclubs and all these houses. That's what players did. Now some players are getting smart and they're going, you know what? Let me buy a part of this other franchise in the NBA or Major League Baseball or MLS or European sporting franchise. Because, dude, the European sports market for soccer clubs, they almost all make money if you just put a little bit of elbow grease into it. Like I said, look at Wrexham. Those guys are making money hand over fist. Brady's making money in the British soccer and in American football. I mean, these guys are getting smart with where they put their money now. They're getting smarter, I should say. I mean, okay, going and buying yourself a lingerie football team might not be the best sports team investment. Sure, it's entertainment, but you're probably going to catch you a couple lawsuits, for something or another in the Me Too movement. And you're probably not going to turn a huge profit because, let's face it, those games aren't necessarily sold out. But there's money to be made in professional sports. And these guys, like, wait a minute, I made my money playing, but if I made all this money, how much did the owner make off me? Maybe
look at Mark Davis. Mark Davis not only he's the majority owner of the Raiders, but he also bought the Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA team, and they just won championships. So he's making money off that too.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you know what else Warren Sapp does? So he's like a celebrity hunter / fisher, like fisherman. So like he'll be on like these like popular like hunting YouTube channels. He'll be like, oh, today we have Warren Sapp with us and we're going like hog hunting on my ranch or something like that. And like he gets paid to do like those little gigs and stuff too. It's pretty funny.
I was gonna say that's a hell of a job getting paid to go hunt.
Hall of Famer from the Buccaneers from Tampa, defensive side of the ball. I'm brain farting his name. He's part owner of the Pensacola Wahoos, which is a
Simeon Rice. Simeon Rice?
No, it's not Rice. But AA baseball team. He's a part owner. So like some of these guys are even like minor league baseball teams. AA, single A, triple A.
Derek Brooks. Thank
you. Brooks is a either majority or minority owner of the Blue Wahoos here in Pensacola. He's from Pensacola originally. So he bought into the team. And look at Blue Wahoos. You're like, Derek Brooks. Thank you, Nick. You're not NFL money, but it's still generating revenue for them. People go, because down here, look at where I live in Pensacola area, you've got the Blue Wahoos, AA baseball, and you've got the Pensacola Ice Flyers, which is developmental league hockey, not even ECHL or IHL or AHL, developmental league. And guess what? They all sell. Why? Because people want sports wherever they live. So you buy the part of the AA team in Birmingham, Alabama, they put butts in seats because it's the only game in town. So players have gotten wise, and they're starting to become owners. And it's interesting. I just brain farted the name, Nick. I mean, I remember he was a beast.
Oh yeah.
But he's a part owner of a minor league franchise. I mean, smart money for these guys.
Hey guys, I just wanted to touch on something really quick that you were talking about earlier in the show before I could join. Going back to the old Madden curse thing, there's always three that will like forever stand out to me. It was Sean Alexander, Vince Young, and Peyton Hillis. I'm like, those to me were like they had the three biggest like downturns like the next season that I can remember. Like those guys, like Sean Alexander had like 1,800 yards, and then like he was on the cover of Madden, and I think literally he had like 800 yards the next season.
You know what? Is it possible if you're an athlete to write into your contract? Like, well, first off, does the player have a say in whether they're on the cover or not? Because I would put in my contract, I will never be on Madden until after I retire.
Well, the Peyton Hillis one is a little funny because that's the only one they left up to a fan vote of who was going to be on the cover, and it came down to him and Aaron Rodgers. And let me tell you, I never voted so hard against Aaron Rodgers in my life.
Has Rodgers ever been on the cover?
Nope, and I'm
happy
every day.
Yeah, I mean, I would write that shit in my contract. Will never be on the Madden cover until I retire.
Yeah, and
hold on. There's even precedence for that because Favre wasn't on the Madden cover until he retired for Green Bay, and then he got ousted by Green Bay, went to the Jets, and had a shitty year there.
Yeah, but yeah, he was still actively playing. I'm talking about
he officially retired at that point.
Right, but he came back and played, so it's still. I mean, I'm talking like John Elway. I can be on the cover now. I'm retired long enough.
Well, if I'm Elway, I wouldn't do that because I'd be worried about breaking a hip in my later years.
Well, you were just talking about Favre on the Madden cover. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah. So he was on the Packers, and I think like was on the cover and retired. Came back on the Jets like that.
Right.
That season and threw like, dude, he threw like what was it, like 22 or 23 interceptions? I think that year on the Jets.
Yeah,
like,
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But shout out John Dorn and E-Fizz in the chat.
Yeah, we had to have. You saw your morning update from Dorn, right?
Yep, I had a comment on it, and
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. He even calls it Broski breaking news now. It's part of the BBN network, the Broski breaking news network.
It warms my insides almost as much as a cup of coffee.
Oh God.
Hey, so we're past June 1st. Is there any news on the June 1st cuts?
So, Ken and I were talking about that before we went on real quick. And just like last year, June 1st, there are going to be some cuts. Because this year we thought, hey, there's going to be some cap casualties. June 1st came in. Wah, wah, wah. One piece of news.
Yeah, literally the only news is that Aaron Rodgers is now being post-designated a June 1st cut. Yay.
That's an interesting question, though. Like, time is starting to run out. I mean, I guess you still have training camp. He could pick up with a team at training camp, but I wouldn't give much for their success. Like, you show up at training camp and you got to learn the offense and everything. Like,
I should have just let Nicholas. This was Nicholas's first comment. I should have just left him hanging, but then he corrected it.
I don't know what's going on with that. Where's that coming from?
I don't know. Well,
what's the tie-in with
Nicholas's? So
I don't know. He's talking about buy booty man.
I thought we were talking about the Madden curse, not something like that. Like, what
hey, it's early. It's June in the NFL off season. Okay, there's nothing else going on. You know, for the second year in a row, we were teased with something happening June 1st, and nothing happened. Like I said when I started the show, it's like going to try to refill your meds right now, and like, oh, well, your doctor isn't in for the next 3 months, so sorry, you have to wait. I mean, this is the part of the season that sucks because we're so See, look at the NFL. The NFL screws us over. I'm just going to say it. You know why? They get you all hyped for free agency, and free agency for the first 3 days is like fire, right? Then they get you all hyped for the draft, and you're hyped for the draft, and it's fire. And then you get nothing until camp, and you have OTAs. And so OTAs, like, you're all hyped, and you want to know now how do all my new assets work, and oh, it's OTAs. Okay, the guys are around in helmets and shorts and T-shirts. It's like, really? And this, we get all these crazy articles that come out that, in Caleb's first practice with Ben Johnson, he's having a hard time grasping the new offense. Well, it's the first OTA. I mean, I don't expect him to come out, be master of the offense day one. Oh, my God. Highly drafted rookie quarterback struggles at first OTA. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I would expect him to. Oh my God, JJ is going to run the world in Minnesota. Look out, anoint them Super Bowl champs today for the laser passes he's throwing. Okay, great. Shorts, T-shirt, helmet, no pressure. Got it. It's basically a glorified version of Indianapolis.
As Packer fans, we've heard this shit so much. When Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback, oh my God, so-and-so had picked off an Aaron Rodgers pass.
Yeah, it's over.
He's picked multiple Aaron Rodgers passes. He's going to be absolutely great when it's practice and Aaron Rodgers is just kind of flinging it around to see where he can throw the shit.
Hey, we're rubbing off on Nicholas. He's getting the lingo. Yes, organized team activities, Nicholas, OTAs.
I read one about JJ that said he can throw the ball 80 yards.
Yeah, we see that every year. There's always someone who can do that.
Yeah, he won this, like, they had this like quarterback thing where they were to see who could throw the ball the fastest, and he was throwing like 60 miles an hour. Yeah, it's like, okay.
You like that? Yeah, I mean, dude, here's the thing. Like, and Love will get Jordan Love throws 9 interceptions in practice. Great. I'm happy for him. You know what that means? He's testing his outer limits. How far right? How far left? Can I make this kind of throw? This is what practice is for.
Yeah, this is where I want to see him doing it and not throwing into triple coverage during a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want him to throw as many picks as he has to in practice so that he doesn't in games.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
get it dialed in.
And here's the thing. Do you really think with open practices that teams are going to show you their offenses and defenses? Like, really show you them? No, because if they're open to the media, let's face it, the Bears have a beat writer that's covering Green Bay. What do you think's going to happen? Hey, guys, here's what I saw Green Bay doing, as he writes the article and tells the world about their new offense. Of course not. I mean, OTAs are great. They're practices. Players are going to look good. Players are going to look bad, but it means nothing in terms of the season.
The funny thing is I could see LaFleur being one of the coaches of, here, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Good luck still trying to stop it.
Well, like the tush push, yeah. I mean, something like that. But I mean,
it's one of those things where it's like with OTAs, they're not like, I don't even think they're really doing too much of their offense on the field. No. It's like they're watching film, and it's more like we just want to see, can this guy catch the ball? You know, what does this guy make cuts like? You know, like
they're doing vanilla routes, vanilla everything in practices that are open, and it's the closed practices where they're running the routes and learning the new playbook. And they're doing that in the classrooms. They're doing that in the closed practices. And the open practices, dude, it's all plain vanilla. And they're just saying, hey, okay, you know, DJ, I want you to go run into triple coverage. Caleb, I want you to try to thread the needle and see if you can do it. Okay. And then 9 out of 10 times he gets picked off in triple coverage. And then here comes John Dorn. Caleb's a bust, throws 9 interceptions out of 10 pass attempts. You know,
I'll tell you what.
Being on brand, that's what Dorn would say. And we'd all be like, okay, yeah. But that's what practices are. You know, Caleb, you know, Love is going to do the same thing to Love. And then Brad Briggs is going to write in the Chicago Tribune, Love really having a hard time in Green Bay. He threw 8 interceptions out of 9 pass attempts. Of course, they'll negate to say that it was in double coverage, triple coverage, or whatever kind of weird scenario they were trying to play out. To try
they had Jordan Love doing a handstand and throwing the football.
Yeah.
John Dorn does make an interesting. I was going to say Dorn makes an interesting point in the comments, though, and this is actually something that I saw some Vikings podcasters kind of like talking about over the weekend, and they're actually kind of like, I think it's a bigger issue than what they've been saying, but they're starting to realize it. Like the Vikings secondary really isn't that great. They need some cornerbacks up there. I think that's going to be a real Achilles for him this year.
Find something new there. Yeah, I mean, no, I agree with you. It's going to be interesting. That's the other thing that we don't think about. High scoring. Well, Nicholas is throwing some out of left field stats out there. Jeez, it's 222-0. That must have been an OTA score. That's the other thing. Defense gets destroyed by offense.
I was going to say, at that point, the scoreboard should just read tilt, and they should call it game over.
Call it a game. You know, Broski, but Broski brings up a good point going on John's point. Like, dude, like if you're certain teams, like, you know, like you're the Vikings with these stud wide receivers, and your secondary isn't necessarily that great, then yeah, JJ looks freaking awesome because, oh my God, JJ McCarthy makes all these awesome plays to, you know, the other JJ and Addison against a crap secondary. Conversely, you go to like, you know, a team where you got a great secondary, great receiver, and a quarterback, and it's more of like, hey, early on the secondary kind of wins. So we don't take that into consideration with these OTA deals. Like if you got a really good secondary and a crappy, well, what's a team that's got a great secondary and a crappy wide receiver core or a good defense? The Giants. The Giants defense is way ahead of the offense. So yeah, the quarterbacks there are going to look like trash at practice because the defense is so far ahead. I'd expect there to be a lot of interceptions, especially with Russ's first season there. So, I mean, these are the things that are happening in OTAs, and the reporters and then the fans and the clickbaiters make a huge deal of it. Like J.J. McCarthy looks like he's going to run the world against a crappy secondary with all world-class receivers at practice.
Yeah, and you keep mentioning J.J. McCarthy and run in the same sentence, and that's something like I need to see that he can still do, but it's not like a mental block because people don't realize that was a huge part of his game was him running. And, you know, just the fact that, hey, can he physically do it the same? And then mentally, is he going to hesitate? And sometimes when you hesitate, you know what happens. You get injured.
Mm-hmm. JJ's fast, dude. I mean, as long as the meniscus tear doesn't, you know, ruin it for him, like he was really fast. I was actually looking forward to seeing that part of his game at the NFL level because he, you know, for a quarterback, he can move.
You know, I mean, that's the thing, too. Like, we had the thing with the running quarterback was a thing, and that's why Bears fans were so hyped on Justin, right? Because he was the next Lamar. And in some ways, he kind of still is comparable to Lamar. You know, he can run the ball great. He just doesn't have the best arm right now.
Okay. Now
Lamar had better success throwing the ball early than Fields did, but in a lot of ways, Fields is still like Lamar. That's why the Jets gave him a chance, because that's still there, right? But now, look at the guys who came out in the draft last year. Caleb isn't known to be a running quarterback. He's more of a pocket passer. Look at all the guys that came out. How many of those guys from last year are running quarterbacks? All those guys who started last year in the league are now pocket guys. And the thing, like when you saw Caleb, you know, bust out last year, he would, like, the difference between him and Fields would tuck the ball and run. Caleb does what old school quarterbacks did, still looks to pass the ball downfield. And does he take sacks like Big Ben? Sure, he does. He takes sacks he shouldn't have last year, especially early on. But that's because these guys aren't running quarterbacks anymore. They're still got capability. Like if you told Caleb, hey, design, run, go, could Caleb do it? Yeah, he's got the skill set, the speed to do it, but he's not. They're going back to pocket passing. Why? Pocket passing quarterbacks win championships. How many run-first quarterbacks have won a championship being a run-first quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes is definitely that guy because at least the past couple of years there, since his receiving core has gone down a bit, a lot of the plays he made were with his legs there. So I got to give it to Mahomes. He's still kind of showing it, but he's more of a hybrid than a running-only quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like being able to throw on the run versus running for yards. Like, it's actually very important to be able to throw on the run. I mean, the quarterbacks since the 70s have been doing that and winning Super Bowls. You got your Ken Stablers, your Terry Bradshaws, Joe Montanas, Steve Youngs, John Elways, and then, you got your, Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and guys like this. All these guys could throw on the run. You know what I mean? Without necessarily like running for yards. So yeah, throwing on the run is a definitely an important aspect of the game. Running for yards, that just shortens your lifespan for the most part.
So, let's look at Mahomes and Josh Allen though, because to go to Ken's point, Mahomes and Josh Allen, he didn't mention Josh Allen, but I'm going to add him because both these guys are pocket passing quarterbacks who are highly successful at running because they pick and choose their moments properly. Mahomes, they win a couple big playoff games, usually against the Bills. Why? Because he's in the pocket all game. And in the fourth quarter, there's no spy on him. And they leave him a big freaking 14-mile wide hole where he can go for 15 yards and get the big first down. And then the very next play, do it again because they're still not thinking he's going to run. Why does Josh Allen get away with it and get so many big plays on the run, even when they know that he's going to run? Well, hey, Josh Allen's a beast.
That's what I was about to say. Josh Allen is a special human being that he's damn near like a Marshawn Lynch that can throw the ball accurately because he's a weird running quarterback because most of the running quarterbacks you see are looking to get out of bounds or slide down. He's looking for that initial contact to run the guy over. Granted, he has gotten better at not doing that in recent years to where he's not sitting there taking unnecessarily hits. But if the game's anywhere on the line, he's running somebody over for it.
But the other piece about Josh Allen, why he's so successful with it, is because Josh Allen lives in the pocket 98% of the game, right? He's not known as a running quarterback. But he does it effectively. Justin Fields is the inverse, and so is Lamar Jackson. These guys are known as guys who'll just take off and run the ball. And that's where some of their most dynamic plays as a quarterback lie. Justin has thrown some gorgeous balls in games, but that gets washed out because all you remember is a 50-yard scamper. Same for Lamar Jackson, right? I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing there. Run first, and RG3. Why were we all hype on him? He was such a dynamic running quarterback who had a shelf life in the NFL of 3 years because of it. The pocket passing quarterback is still the way you win games in the NFL. JJ doesn't have to be the running quarterback. He just needs to pick his times. And the system he's playing in Minnesota, he shouldn't be running too often. Like, honestly, just put the ball where they tell you and JJ's going to catch it. Or Addison's going to catch it. Or Aaron Jones is going to catch it. Whoever they throw, that's what he should be doing this season for them. And he's going to look great in OTAs because that defense is not the talent level that offense is. And if he's throwing interceptions, it's fine because that's the other piece about OTAs. They're starting to learn timing routes, right? And as they learn timing routes, initially, timing is not going to be perfect from day one. So you're going to see a lot of interceptions from quarterbacks on timing routes because they're trying to get the timing down. And then here's the bigger rub on that, Ken, and then I'll land the airplane, as it were. The timing route in practice is different than it is when you're actually on the field of play. So Caleb or Jordan or any of these guys can look great in practice on timing routes. Week one, they now they've got the timing down. Week one, the guy gets a bump, he gets pressed, he gets whatever timing is now off, and they got to recalibrate. And that's why it looks crappy in the first couple of weeks of football, because let's face it, the timing's off. The intensity is different. The hitting is different.
Mm-hmm.
I would just point out.
And then I'll switch it over to you, Joe. That's why I really like Jordan Love as a quarterback, because he sits in the pocket and climbs the pocket very well, to where you see a lot of these guys wanting to hurry up and bail out to the left or right to try to do some Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes type shit, when all you got to do is climb up in the pocket, buy yourself some extra time. And hey, if that doesn't work, then go take it off and run with it. That's why I like that Jordan Love has the ability to run, but doesn't rely onto it.
And Love is very effective at running when he picks his moments. Go ahead, Joe.
Yep.
Oh, I was just going to say I wanted to point out two things. First, the biggest reason why the Chiefs beat the Bills in the playoffs is the refs. I think we've seen that a couple years in a row already. Some controversial calls. But second, I blame Mike Shanahan for RG3. Like, RG3 could have been Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson if they didn't insist on playing him with an injured knee the whole season. Like, just throwing it out there. RG3 was looking like he was going to be special, man. Like, you know.
I mean, it's a curse of the running quarterback, though. And like what Ken was saying with Love, I mean, Caleb will climb the pocket. If they can't climb the pocket, he rolls out and is continuing to look to throw the ball downfield. That's the difference when you get a guy like Love or Caleb there's a bunch from Joe Burrow. When they leave either they step up in the pocket to buy time. If that's not an option, they'll roll out to buy time. All these guys do the same thing. They're still looking to throw the ball downfield, and they pick their moments when to run. Caleb did it last year. Jordan Love does it. Burrow does it. Mahomes does it. If they can't push the ball downfield with the throw, they'll then use their legs. And all those guys are fully capable of doing it. But instead of being like Lamar Jackson with design run plays or Justin Fields just tucking and going, they're always looking to put the ball downfield. That's why those guys will always be more successful in the long term.
And I think, especially when it comes to Love and Caleb Williams, that is the Aaron Rodgers effect. Because don't forget that Caleb absolutely idolized Aaron Rodgers growing up and through his college career, and Love had Rodgers sitting there showing him what to do and talking to him for 3 years about it. So you're getting one of the aspects that made a great player great bestowed onto the next generation, a bit of, hey, yeah, running's very important and all that, but you don't got to do it all the time.
I mean, in Lamar's point, if you look at it, he still pops off the runs, but you have to admit, Lamar has changed his game.
Yeah, yeah. I will give it to Lamar Jackson. He has gone way above and beyond with his passing. He's a hell of a lot better passer than I thought he was going to be his first couple of years in the league.
But I don't know if he's changed his game so much as he's just become a better passer. Like, I think he became a better passer, and so he doesn't have to rely on his legs as much, but he still definitely is going to use that part.
You could say it's partially both. I mean, look at Michael Vick. Michael Vick, part one of his career was dynamic running. He's like the godfather of the running quarterback, if you will, right? And then when he came back in the latter part of his career, he was more of a pocket passer. So, I mean, you could see his transition over time. I think what we're seeing in Lamar is somewhat natural, where he's gotten better. He's gotten better at throwing the ball. Also has some better receivers, better situations to throw the ball, and so you don't run. And now you've got King Henry back there, so you don't have to. And by the way, King Henry did sign. We didn't report it because kind of like okay, but King Henry did sign an extension with Baltimore, like a 2-year extension.
Well, I were gonna say, come on, after that year, we all knew it was coming.
We knew that was coming, but I mean. The thing is now you've got the threat back there with King Henry, and Lamar can still do it. But now they can let people think, okay, he's not a runner anymore, he's a pocket passer. Now he can bust one out. I mean, Lamar is one of the few guys who is a running quarterback that had longevity, but you can also see that longevity is being due to how many games did he miss due to injury last year? That was the problem with Lamar. Oh, he's always injured by the playoffs. Well, they've changed his game, so now he's not injured going to playoffs. He's still dynamic. You can't be a running quarterback and have longevity. Justin Fields is going to have to learn that. He's going to have to become a better passer, or he's going to have a very short tenure with the Jets.
Yeah, living in the Philly area at the time, so I saw the whole Andy Reid, McNabb era, and then the Mike Vick, coming out of prison and getting, signed to play quarterback by the Eagles. And one of the things that always stand out to me that Mike Vick said, like when he came back to play for the Eagles, he was a much better actual quarterback when he did that. He was like, he regretted not listening to coaching when he had, before he went to jail, when he had all that talent, when he was when he was fresh, when he was at the peak of his like physical ability type of thing. Like he actually, you can go look at interviews. He was like, yeah, I really regret not listening to my coaches when I was younger and had all that speed and quickness.
I mean, look at guys like Tom Brady, who wasn't the most athletic, who have long, great careers. Why? Because they're good pocket passers. Look at Kurt Warner. When he was with the Greatest Show on Turf, he was not that good of a quarterback. He just played with a really good offense and could happen to heave the ball. But by the time he got to the Cardinals, he was a phenomenal quarterback. And even though he had lost most of his mobility and everything, he was just a much better quarterback. He better ball placement, knew how to play the position better. You look at, I mean, guys like, and Vic was the same thing, and what Vic said is very true. Can you imagine how good Vic could have been if he had taken, well, I mean, some of these guys, like, as they get older, they get a lot better. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers, look, he doesn't win all his MVPs till the latter part of his career. Yeah, he wins a Super Bowl early, but the MVP times are at the latter part of his career in Green Bay. His last
he had 2 separate double MVPs that were spread out.
But look, at the end of his career, he's much better than he is early in his career. Even with him, it's true.
I was going to say just the fact that he won 2, like in his, what was he, like mid to late 30s or whatever, like that. That's pretty amazing. And I do think that the age for quarterbacks for being in their prime keeps getting older and older. Like I'd almost say now it's like between the ages of like 29 and 32 or 30 and 32 that like quarterbacks are actually in their prime.
Well, switch up, let's look at offensive linemen. The guys who are called the highly sought linemen now, offensive linemen, dude, they're all between 28 and 32.
Yeah. Which shocks the ever-living shit out of me for offensive linemen, because that's the one position where you're getting hit absolutely every single snap.
I mean, even edge rushers, you're looking for guys like 27 to 30 usually now. 30 used to be, that's when you're out of the league. Now the guys are staying in the league with 35, 36, 40, close to damn near 40. Mm-hmm. And like Tooney is at the top of his game at 32 years of age, 33 years of age, and we just signed to an extension. You know what? He'll be good for that extension. That we're seeing the hard part for us older guys is where you said 30, you're done. Now it's more like 35, 36, somewhere in there is where you start to slow down.
Depending on position, yeah.
Look at Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is still at a high level at 34 years of age.
Yeah, but I think he's the outlier, though.
He's becoming more the norm. They are becoming more the norm. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, great show today, guys. Everyone have a great day. We got about 2 minutes left. Don't forget, I'm also get the stuff in. Thank you, Nicholas, for ushering in this part of the show. Don't forget to follow JB right after us, and right after JB is the Huddle Afternoon Show at noon Central. You can catch that in a couple of our places. Today being Monday, nothing else extra. We'll be back here tomorrow morning like we are every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central. Wednesday evening, we got the House Hall Report at 7 p.m. Central. And then, of course, we'll go into the weekend schedule, which we just got out of. It's a summer. I mean, it's going to be wild and crazy in terms of there's not much news. So who knows where the conversations will take us. I can promise you this, though, and Ken will keep me to it, or he'll bash me over the head with a baseball bat. We will not be doing an episode, sorry, Isaac, on the jock tax this offseason.
You better believe it. No tax code 102, guys. I promise.
However, I will say this, for as dry as it was, Isaac got to be a rock star, and we all did learn a lot, and it has been useful. But a lot coming up.
I learned a lot in school too. That doesn't mean I want to go redo it.
A lot of good stuff coming up this summer as we await the irony of wanting football back means summer will be over. So it's June 1st or June 2nd now. Sorry. Enjoy your summer. Hit those swimming pools responsibly. Get on those motorcycles, John Dorn. Be safe out there. We want to see you back here every single day on X, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Fire TV, all our different platforms. We enjoy having you guys here every day as we make our way to the season and try to digest what of the clickbait is somewhat credible, what is just fantasy land. But at least we always know this. We have John Dorn to let us know on the Broski Breaking News Network to let us know that that he thinks Caleb Williams is not just a bust, but a super bust.
Yay.
Shout out
We
John
gotta have
Dorn.
some fun with it. Was it, Broski?
I said, shout out John Dorn.
Shout out to John Dorn. Gotta love Dorn. He stays on character too. I love it. Everyone have a great day. It's been enjoyable being with you guys. We got out of here. JB is next. Bye, everyone.